I'm Tom Clark, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. The verse I want to talk about today is found in Proverbs 18, verse 2, where we read in the New Revised Standard Version, "A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing personal opinion." I suppose nearly all of us have had the rather unpleasant experience of trying to explain something to someone who is far more interested in his or her own opinion than in what we are trying to say. The results can range from frustrating to disastrous. In fact, verse 13 of the same chapter, Solomon adds, "If one gives an answer before hearing, it is folly and shame." As a pastor, it's always distressing when I'm called to talk to a couple whose marriage is in trouble. I'm reminded of a situation many years ago when a young couple asked me to come over to their home. They both agreed their marriage was in trouble, but they couldn't agree on the cause or the solution. They were a young couple with 2 cute kids and a promising future. He had a decent job, he was a hard worker. She was a very caring and empathetic lady who deeply loved her family and worked hard to take care of their home. But over time, little irritations and resentments had built up between them, and now they were seemingly welded together into a virtually impenetrable wall that sat between them. And every time they tried to talk about it, not only was nothing resolved, but the problem seemed to get worse. In desperation, they called to see if I could offer some help. Here are a few of the things I heard. "We just don't have enough money," which was immediately countered with, "I work hard to support the family, you just spend too much." Or, "You are never at home, even when you aren't working. The kids and I want more of your time," which was countered with, "You are always complaining and asking me to do more things when I just need to relax." Or, "When I get home in the evening, the house is always a mess, and there is never a meal ready," which was countered with, "I spend all day and night taking care of a toddler and an infant. I get very little sleep at night and no help from you. I'm doing the best I can without any help." Over the course of the conversation, much more was discussed, but the theme became pretty clear. There were legitimate concerns and worries, but they never got resolved. If one mate or the other would start to bring up a problem, the other didn't automatically try to understand or see things through the eyes of his or her spouse. Rather, they only waited for a pause so they could defend themselves and express their own concerns and accusations. Unless that pattern changed, I think we all know where that marriage was headed. The sad thing is, most of the issues had relatively simple and straightforward solutions, but it had to start with both of them being willing to listen to understand, rather than simply waiting for an opportunity to express themselves. At the most basic level, don't we all want to be understood? Don't we all want someone who will listen to understand what we say and feel before they say anything else? If we know we've been heard, if we know the other person cares, isn't it easier to accept admonition or even stronger correction if that's what's needed? And shouldn't we expect our friends and neighbors and families to all feel that same way? That's where Solomon's words of wisdom apply. Another translation says, "A foolish person is the one who doesn't try to understand, but is only interested in expressing his own thoughts." You and I can't change how other people act, but we can make sure we make an effort to listen to the advice of Solomon. So let's make sure we always try to understand. Just because we understand doesn't mean we'll agree, but at least we can discuss a matter with knowledge. Let's listen first to understand and then give a response in a loving manner. And, along with understanding, be willing to see that your opinion may not be correct. Always being teachable is a key. As I tried to help that young couple many years ago, it is clear that if they had learned sooner how to lovingly and respectfully share their concerns and listen to one another, they could have saved themselves many tears and hurt feelings and the worry that their marriage might not survive. Solomon was right. A foolish person doesn't listen to others in order to understand. I don't want to be a foolish person, and I doubt if you do either. If you would like to learn more about healthy conversations, see the link in the show notes.
If you've been enjoying Verse by Verse and want to help the show grow, here's what you can do to get the word out. Wherever you're listening, make sure to subscribe. If you're on a platform that accepts reviews and ratings, those can both make a big difference in helping other people find us. Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.